I have received a reply from Ubisoft lawyers regarding my situation and McDizzle trying to destroy my entire career by faking pretending to be somebody who he's not, an actual real life person that works at Ubisoft, a developer there, and saying that they were them while they were trying to send over a fake story to get me to leak it and tell the public that just to prove something for a social experiment or something. I still really don't understand what the motives were, except for a got you to try to take me down. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out for McDizzle at all. And the lawyers themselves have told me that they also have reached out for further information from McDizzle. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And I have written this article over at smashjt.com. We're going to go over this today, going through not just what the lawyers have said to me specifically in addressing McDizzle himself, but also McDizzle has a response that I found very, we'll just say, curious. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article that we're going to be going through today. Ubisoft lawyers respond. McDizzle Gaming goes into full damage control. The recent Smash JT Ubisoft legal saga has received an official response from Ubisoft's legal team. It's shed some important light on their overall stance regarding McDizzle stealing one of their employees' identities, and I have received direct confirmation back from Ubisoft that they have indeed reached out to McDizzle Gaming. And while they didn't elaborate too much on the specifics, obviously, McDizzle himself has also now acknowledged it in a tweet. But first, let's go over the latest email from Ubisoft lawyer to me. And again, I've had multiple people in my previous video talk about like, oh, how do you know they're real? It could be another fake. It might be like step 2 of what they're trying to get you on. I'm like, okay, maybe it's some elaborate hoax, but it's coming from a at Ubisoft email address, and I verified the name of the person is a lawyer for Ubisoft. So, I mean, if this is a fake, it's a pretty good fake. And on top of that, what they say lines up with exactly what I would expect them to say after the request came through yesterday. They said, "Thank you for your prompt response and for taking the necessary steps to edit the video out of respect of our employees' privacy. We appreciate your willingness to act in good faith on this matter. Regarding the broader issue, we want to clarify that we have also reached out to McDizzle Gaming regarding their actions. That said, it remains important to be cautious when featuring information that could contribute to impersonation or reveal employee identities, even inadvertently. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation in ensuring that such situations are avoided in the future. Thanks again for your time and consideration. Best regards." And I mean, I probably don't need to redact the lawyer's name, but I'm doing that out of just, I don't want to deal with this with them. I'm just like, okay, their lawyer sent this to me. Great. I'm going to just report on it to you guys as far as what the situation is for full transparency. I found the most interesting part of this was when they talk about how they reached out to McDizzle Gaming regarding their actions. And this leads me to the broader point of McDizzle Gaming removing, privating, or deleting the video talking about the situation, trying to take down my channel by exposing me as some sort of fraud because I don't vet enough on the people that send me information, which I don't know how many times I can address this to you guys. But again, I do the best I can when it comes to vetting my sources, and I will try to be better. But at the same time, no matter how good you are at vetting sources, when it wants to be an anonymous leaker or somebody that doesn't want to be connected to their company and they're providing you with information and they're saying, hey, here's what's happening here. I want you, I trust you to get this information out for me. And it all lines up. The person lines up with what they say. All I can do is trust their word and say, okay, this is what I'm getting from this person, and take it or leave it, take it with a grain of salt. if they are to be believed. These are the things that I always say with that kind of information. And that's after my vetting process of making sure it's a real person, making sure that everything lines up and the story makes sense. And depending on the severity of the story, will depend on how much information I'm going to be requiring from them. If it's somebody just confirming a basic story that's out there, like the one that McDizzle tried to do here, that's how he got me, was just saying, yeah, that rumor of Assassin's Creed getting delayed another time, it's true. It is getting delayed another time. It made sense. So what I learned from this situation is to take a step back from these and just not just go with the story the first time. Make sure I ask for more follow-up information. But again, at the end of the day, no matter how much information they provide me, no matter how much they have proven they will already lie to get to a desired result of trying to ruin me, there's nothing more I can do. And people that want to destroy the channel, destroy my brand, destroy the trust that people have for me, if they have that target set out in mind, they will hit it. And initially, it will work, which is exactly what happened. But as time has passed, a lot of the community, in fact, I'd argue most of the community, has looked at this for what it is and said, oh, wait, that guy was actually going out of his way to try to ruin you. And his whole purpose was to try to prop his whole channel up and knock your channel down and take your subscribers for his own. Like, that was clear as day what he was trying to do. And it was embarrassing. It was pathetic. And it didn't work at all. And now, where did it leave him? A channel with less subscribers, less views, and people that do not trust him at all. So I hope it was worth it for your social experiment. But regardless of that, McDizzle responds. And this response is, we'll just say, fascinating. Uh, he goes, for those wondering, I removed tweets and videos to comply with the cease and desist. Part of this as well was not to impersonate an Ubisoft employee for any intent in the future. Again, the problem is once you do what you did, nobody will believe a damn thing that you say because you have already proven yourself to be untrustworthy. So I don't even take any of this with any kind of truth whatsoever. Uh, Part of this as well was not to impersonate a Ubisoft employee for any intent in the future. How do we know that? Like, what? Why would we believe you? Like, what you did deceived somebody to get to an end goal, to prove to people that you are willing to do whatever it takes to get to that end goal. And that includes potentially breaking laws and becoming a criminal to do that. And now we're just going to take a step back and be like, oh, it's okay. He learned his lesson. I'm sure we can trust him now because words, um, all complied. And I think I can work with that. I take it pretty seriously. I have said my piece to those that matter in the situation. I understand Smash also got a C&D. I hope he takes it seriously as sharing personal information to a large audience is no joke. My guy, you are in no position to tell me what I can do, what I can't do, what's moral. You cannot say these things. All right? What you did just kind of eliminates your ability to have this kind of moral grandstanding high ground. You've lost all of that. But regardless, to the people who are angry on behalf of their favorite YouTuber, don't know what to tell you. I've been reasonable, mature, and an adult this whole time, and actually gave Smash some good faith that I did not need to, and provided him with the name of one of the BioWare leakers, which isn't me. And by the way, he did do that. He sent me the information of a BioWare leaker, and I was like, yeah, that's the leaker that I confirmed with my actual inside source at BioWare that is not a real person. And they vetted it for me and said, yeah, that's not true. The information that they gave you there is not true. And I made a video talking about that. So I don't know how this is a gotcha. Again, like, this is the problem that I have with them is they're trying to extrapolate one situation and be like, oh, we got him here. So because we got him there, that means everything he's ever done ever is not believable. And I'm like, okay, then why are you not actually bringing up other examples? And it's because you Can't. Everything else I've already reported on has either come true or I've presented tangible evidence of contacting with them. Slack messages, email messages, CEO insider messages from Obsidian. Like everything I've talked about is actual good faith, journalistic integrity filled conversation. And no, I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy talking about stuff on the internet where people send me information. And I don't know where this keeps getting caught up where, oh, this is journalism integrity and Smash JT is no better than the yellow journalism anywhere else. I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're trying to prove here, but whatever it is, it's clearly not working. But regardless, he continues. Which isn't me. If you did see my video, someone else tipped me off that this was happening. Remember, this is a pattern not limited to Smash around bad faith reporting by anonymous sources. Name/role and nebulous information shouldn't be enough to assume you are talking to an inside leaker because it quote unquote lines up. So this is now the moral arbiter of truth of McDizzle telling everyone else what should and should not be enough information to vet somebody. And I would respond to that with, okay, so what is? Do you notice how they never provide that? Because there is no answer to that. Every situation you have to take individually on its own and do your best with it. What he's doing right now is making a straw man argument to knock it down, being like, oh, what he did there clearly wasn't enough, which proves why this guy is not somebody you should trust. And it's like, no, bro, you can't do that. That doesn't work. Every situation is its own beast. Do I have an apology for Smash? No. Why would I apologize to a large YouTuber who has blasted out my personal information, not a dox, but definitely threw my name and general location out to his angry smashers, keeps talking about me? Bro, you tried to destroy my career, my reputation, my business, tried to turn the community against me, made up lies about me, went out of your way to steal someone's identity, and now you're taking the standpoint of, oh, Smash exposed who I am because I literally have McDizzle Gaming on my LinkedIn profile picture, and because of that, it's my fault for sharing that? Like, I'm sorry, bro. You are not the person in the position of being right here, okay? All I'm doing is reporting, showing people I do my due diligence, I do my research. And part of that sometimes shows things that you might not want to see out there, which, oh, by the way, goes back to don't come at me if you don't expect me to come back at you and say, oh, okay, this is what you're going to do to me? All right, everyone, here's who we're dealing with. Again, you can try to cry and play victim all you want, but at the end of the day, you are the one in the wrong here. It's why I'm not worried at all about Ubisoft and their lawyers. I did what they asked me to. I complied with what they asked me to, even though I know I didn't have to, out of the kindness out of my heart, because I don't want this employee to be negatively impacted or affected by a situation that you 100% wholeheartedly created yourself, that I had nothing to do with. Take some accountability, something that clearly these people have no idea what to do. But anyways, but doesn't have the guts to talk to me, but can't seem to get me off his mind after almost 2 weeks, as well as blames me for situations he's in. Bro, I haven't talked about you in 2 weeks. Like, I got the C&D from Ubisoft. So you are part of that story. I am going to cover that story and bring up why it's relevant to my audience. I can't just bring up Ubisoft sent me a C&D and not talk about why they sent it to me. That wouldn't make any sense. So again, stop playing the victim and understand what you did created this situation. Take accountability. As well as blames me for the situations he is in. It's tough to strike a conciliatory tone with that, although I have tried. You control the buttons you press. Stop being a victim and blaming me because of your oversights. Again, my guy, you are the one projecting here. You are the one playing the victim. You wrote this 3-paragraph essay as to why I'm the one that's at fault here when you proactively attacked me. Like, I don't know how else to tell you this, but you are in the wrong. And everybody sees it for what it is right now, especially Ubisoft, who is watching everything that's happening right now. And I am not worried at all. My hands are clean from the situation. I admitted that what I did probably could have been vetted further. I could have asked more questions. You could have lied more to me. But at the end of the day, I would have ended up in the same exact position that we're in right now. And again, it goes back to you taking accountability for what you did, the actions you created and caused, instead of saying, oh, if Smash just did more, I would have backed off. It would have been left at that. And I would have told the community that he is better than I thought he was and very trustworthy. Yeah, bro. Okay. The same guy that stole someone's identity and went through the lengths of finding out who they were, where they worked, what position they were, the teams that they worked on, and giving all this information with a backstory would simply just drop it instantly if I replied back to him. Or would you maybe have tried to keep going with me? Which one's more logical? Like, think about that for a second. Anyways. I don't believe you, by the way. That's why I don't talk to you. That's why when you're like, oh, Smash has refused to talk to me or platform me or have me on his channel, why would I? You have proven yourself to be untrustworthy. Everything you say is something that I would not even listen to anyways. You are not trusted. You are not somebody that I feel like is important in the grand scheme of gaming. You're somebody that is detracting and ruining the movement of what we're doing here of trying to make the games industry better. All you're doing is throwing a wrench into the machine and saying, whoa, look at that. If you throw a wrench into that, it breaks. Like, yeah, bro, that's what happens. So congratulations on your small win that lasted like a day, when much of the community who just already hated me going into that just reinforced and confirmed their bias of hating me again, where everyone else kind of saw this for what it was and kind of made them aware of, oh, who's this Smash JT guy? Let me find out about the situation. And then you Streisand me, just like Alyssa Mercante did, just like everything else that just keeps happening with me, how everyone keeps coming at me and everyone keeps finding out about me. And they're like, oh, wait, Smash isn't actually doing anything wrong at all. And he's trying his best, and sometimes he's human, sometimes he's going to make mistakes, but he's trying his best with what he's doing, and he's doing his best to provide this information to us. Why would we hate on him for that? Meanwhile, we have people like you who are trying to destroy the very industry that we all love so dearly. Anyways, I could keep going on this. The article goes on and on, but that's basically all I wanted to get out of me in this video. McDizzle is completely lost. Nobody cares about his channel anymore. He's removed the videos. He's lost the views. He's losing subscribers. Most likely, I haven't checked into that specifically, but I would imagine he's losing the views from the video itself. And his reputation was already in the dirt from covering Grums and Grums DLC, Grums 3.0. Like, he needed to find somebody else to come at, and he thought that I would be a good target for that. And he chose very poorly. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you want more information, check out the whole article here on smashjt.com. I will link it in the description below. If you guys appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash,